Hey, how's it going? My name is Gabriel Donate. I'm from Paramount, California, and I'm actually an MI alumni. Since graduating, I actually had the opportunity to perform and kind of travel the States, doing what I love. And right now I'm currently touring with Junior H, and tonight we're ending the tour in the Hollywood Bowl. So MI has really taught me a lot, honestly. From the music business to making my own flyers to being able to record myself. The big thing as being a drummer, the rhythms, being able to read music, just understanding music as this whole concept, right? Being able to communicate with other musicians, which is a big thing. It gave me a lot of tools. I was able to, social network with a lot of people, meet a lot of people from different countries and stuff like that. Different opportunities came around. So, I'm really grateful for everything they kind of, let me have. And then another thing that I really enjoyed from this school was the OC classes, being able to kind of go into everybody's room and kind of pick at their brains. And it didn't necessarily have to be just drums. I've been to basses, I've been to engineering OCs. So really kind of like picking at everybody's brain was one of the coolest things here. So MI does give you an instant network, especially like in your classes. Like say as a drummer, you meet other drummers and then we kind of just talk and you make new friends right away off the bat, honestly. You can find, common interest. But after that, you start going to performance classes and then you start meeting guitarists, bassists, keyboardists, and you kind of just, hey, let's make a band or whatever it is, So that's the really cool thing about this. I really love that about this school is that, how much people you can meet. Music business, obviously, you can meet other people that are in a different category, I guess you could say. They're studying different things, they're not just studying music. They're like, hey, I want to manage your group or I want to, help you on your touring. That's really cool. So yeah, the networking part of it is the greatest thing right here. Meeting people from all over the world and then staying friends afterwards. MI really gave me a lot of confidence because, you come here and you're like practicing day and night, you get that practice, which is really cool. But also just kind of like if you get involved with bands and all that, kind of getting that experience really helps out a lot. So there's a lot of things happening here in Hollywood, obviously. So being able to like get in a band and kind of just perform, that's where you're really gonna learn a lot of things about yourself and situations that kind of arise. And you're like, wait, what's going on? My kick drum is kind of, you kind of have to make these kind of split decisions of like, all right, I gotta get this fixed. So it really helped out a lot on that. But yeah, just kind of try to play a lot and just get a lot of experience, man, because that's really gonna help you out. So the way I got the gig is, it's a funny story. This is something I've heard a lot. It's always about who you know, right? But in this case, I actually was just at a point where I was just uploading a lot on social media, and somebody just kind of came across my video and decided that I was, a great fit for this kind of thing. And so it's like, don't give up, keep posting yourselves. You gotta expose yourself out there because who's gonna know about you, right? So the big thing was me putting up a lot of videos on social media, and yeah, that really helped me out there. But there's been times where I've gotten gigs where it's just like, oh, I know a drummer, or I know this guy, or or even vice versa. I'll be like, oh, I know this bass player, whatever. So talk to people, network, and post yourself. So MI really made me kind of open my eyes and become more versatile, honestly. I came here kind of just narrow-minded, just kind of like, all right, I want to just stick to this. But they kind of show you so much music, so much rhythm, so many everything, that you're like, all right, let me pick at this, let me pick at that. You can come here wanting to be a metal player and then, you learn some jazz, but you can add some jazz licks to the metal or whatever, And that's kind of the thing that I did was I really picked at my niche. I learned all these different genres and stuff, and I was like, let me apply it to what I'm doing because in my sense, that's my strong suit. So I didn't want to be weak in all these other areas. I wanted to kind of just grab a lot of that and just put it in my strong suit. So it really helped me out a lot. Yeah. If somebody were to ask me if it was worth it, I would definitely say yes, it's worth coming to MI. They teach you so much. Like I said, you meet so many people. For me, it was just an eye-opener. It really humbled me. You're thinking you're really, really, this great player, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, play this, So it does, it gets you ready for the real world, for sure. But I've gotten that question a lot where they're like, is it worth it? And it's like, yeah, they teach you how to read music, which I find it to be a shortcut, to learn songs, to learn technique, to learn all kinds of things. Schooling, education, all that. I think it's really worth it, if you want to just get a head start, honestly. I think what makes MI very special and different is how much music they kind of teach you, like contemporary music. A lot of places maybe just teach you classical, or you just go to a jazz thing or something. The wide range of different genres that you learn here, and also, like I keep going back to, is the amount of people from different countries that you get to meet. These long-time friendships that you can make. Maybe you're here now and they move away to Brazil, and you're like, hey, I'm in Brazil, are you still here? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, let's hang or whatever. So on my first actual show, it was in Chicago. I remember this sold-out show. We were in the backstage kind of putting in our in-ears, and I remember hearing the roar of the crowd, and I was like, am I like at a soccer stadium? What's going on? Like, it's that loud. It's so loud that it got me pretty nervous, I'm not gonna lie. So you go up there and you see all these people, and you're like, wow, this is it, I made it. This is the dream gig, every musician kind of wants. So I was nervous, but after that, I realized this is what I really wanted to do. This is what I've been studying for, everything that I've been working for, and I'm here, so let's get it.